Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to have a look at a problem I've been having for quite a while, and that is the not enough goods to sell message on commercial units. Now this is an old city build I've made, and it's actually my first ever city build. No mods, base game with DLC only. And after a point I started getting this message, and I tried everything to fix it. I tried cargo train terminals. I tried cargo airports, both the cargo ports, cargo harbours, sorry. Cargo airports, both the new style ones and also the old style ones. Somewhere here, there it is. Cargo airports. I tried all that, making sure traffic was moving well, better transportation for the people. I tried all that. Nothing worked. Until one day, I read somewhere, the problem seemed to stem from the balance of goods. So here is the import for my city. We're importing a load of goods and a load of mail. Mail doesn't matter. So it's just the goods part. We're importing a lot of it. We can say it's nearly half. I don't know what this is in absolute units, but nearly half of this number, so maybe 2,000, maybe more, is lack of goods. And what are we exporting? We're not exporting goods, we're exporting fish, we're exporting a lot of forestry, we're exporting some agricultural, mail doesn't really count, no ore, no oil. Again, this is the base vanilla game. I'm not using the mod that comes with the game that turns on unlimited oil and ore. So basically these are practically unusable, because you just run out of it so fast. So the question then is, what industry have I got in this city? So if I just go to this view, we have some industry zones here. This looks like generic. Okay. So it's a mixture of things. So this looks like it's generic industry. This section here is the generic farmland, if memory serves me correctly. So not the DLC farmland, but the generic farmland. Scooting down here, this is the Industries DLC farmland. So we definitely have some industry around. What else have we got? Anything around here? Tiny strip, probably generic. Oh, this is the forest industry area. The Industries DLC forest, not generic forest. Tiny splodge of what looks like generic industry there. Down here, this is probably generic, and we have a cargo hub there, so right next to the Industries DLC farmland. Over here we got a bigger area. There's a little bit of generic forest, and then we got a load of generic generic vanilla industry, as well as a cargo airport, and bit more industry DLC here, bit of just a tiny bit there, not a huge amount. That's a load of industry, but it's not producing goods. Most of it is not producing goods. Again, if I go back to the demand indicator here, so this is what they're pulling. These purple ones are pulling in goods, or trying to. But if I go to generation, can you see any purple on this map? I think the short answer is no. I am not I am producing, but I'm not exporting, so there is not a surplus. I'm a net importer of goods, and basically the game infrastructure doesn't seem to really allow for enough of it, is what I think is the root cause of a problem. Now what I want to try is a trick I've learnt, which is the IT cluster office space does produce goods. It doesn't make sense to me. Generic office does not produce goods, but the IT cluster specifically does. So this is just an old safe. I don't know why I have a def wave, but that's not a major problem for now. So what I will try to do and see if it fixes the problem. So this is one of the worst areas. Look at that. We need to get goods in here. We have a load of generic office. This is not IT cluster office, I don't believe. That's probably an area for the commercial only. So let's convert some of this to IT cluster. So I reckon this section here by the highway would be a good starting point. So we're just going to draw a district over. Well, if we're going to do it, let's go large, shall we? How much more? How much bigger shall I make it? Let's take in this whole block here. So up to the commercial, make this this square. So I haven't actually pre-tested this. This is all in theory. So we got this nice block here. Right, so we're turning this into the IT cluster. Boom. They'll rebuild now. So I'm going to put the game speed up to maximum, and we'll just give it a second and see what happens. So once again, this is my original city. I will have to admit it is not the best, but it has a special part in my heart because it is the first place I ever built. Some of it's changing over, but it's taking its time. There's no demand at the moment. It will take a while to catch up. Now this in itself might not be enough, but we shall see. I'll probably have to do many more areas, so whilst we're waiting for that, I'm just going to do some more areas. Maybe okay, let's do this section. So I'll leave the bit by the water, but certainly the bit enclosed by these roads here. Oh, we've got a little park there already. What is that? That's for the residential, is it? No, it isn't. I made this. That's a commercial one, isn't it? So I have no idea why that is there. Maybe that's left over from something that doesn't exist here anymore. But I'll recycle this anyway, since it's already here. So let's just, like I said, I'll take it up to the major roads. Whoa, I didn't want to go that far. Just over, up to there, down again. That'll be fine. This is fine. So let's, boom. So that's now going to convert to an IT cluster as well. So this section, it's taking its time. It's still converting, and the game's on maximum speed. Unfortunately, because this is a bigger city, it can take its time. And they're gonna take a while to rebuild as well. Let's see if there's any visible impact here. So the importing, it helps if I click the right thing. It was about 5.5, wasn't it, last time? So we're importing even more goods than we were at the start. This proportion is bigger than relative to the mail now. Maybe that just means we're importing less mail, not we're importing more goods. Export, still no visible sign of goods, but if I zoom out, nope, still nothing. So if I zoom in here, for example, this is agricultural products, which should also be here as well. Again, this is the Industries DLC farmland. That's generic farmland. This is generic industry, and it's not showing up as anything. Of course, this is only showing the exports. This is not showing production, which is a subtle distinction maybe. Why do I have a death wave going on? Again, that's not the point of this recording. So I'm not going to be focusing on that. This might be the time I tried optimizing the budget a bit. This will be why. Yeah. That'll be why. I was trying to balance the budget a bit, and I guess it reduced the death care capacity enough to cause a problem. Right. How is our growing? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Takes a little while, doesn't it? You know, there is a little bit of growth. No, we do. Okay, there's one. It's so slow. So what I think I'll do is I'll leave this running and we'll come back to this a bit later and just see how things get on. Okay, the game has been left running for quite some time and this area has filled up nicely. We're still getting not enough goods next door. Okay, this area has also regrown back. Let's see if there's anything on the import and export list. So we still have... Okay, that has made a huge difference. So the total import has gone down from 5,300-ish to 3,300-ish. So that's 2,000 units of importing less. If we assume mail hasn't changed, then that must be due to changing goods. So we're importing approximately 2,000 less goods. We're still not visibly exporting any. That's oil products, isn't it? That colour there. So basically this has helped, but it hasn't helped quite enough just yet. But it means we're on the right track. So what we need to do is, well, that, but more of it. So let's identify some other office zones. Let's convert some of this as well. So we got quite a segment here. I could, do they, right, they don't overlap. Let's just make a block here. So this, let's use a bigger one. Oh, I hate it when it does that. I hate it when it does that. Come on, come on. Right. So actually, let's continue down a bit more. Let's grab these as well. It might look a bit rubbish. It might look a bit nonsensical. Where is it again? Down to that road. Again, this is an old save anyway, so I'm kind of going back in history as an alternate fix. Just to recap, my original fix was to build a load of the dirty, polluting, generic industry everywhere. Oh, look at that. Did you see that? Just for a moment then, we had just a tiny, tiny bit of demand for industry. Right, so we're changing this to the IT cluster. Boom. Right, let's find another one, because this could take some time. This could take a while. We've got a nice big block here. I'm very tempted to do that. So this segment, so actually between the railway tracks and this vertical road by the, is that the amusement park? So let's do that again. Oh, that's the amusement park, that's fine. We can overlap those, I think, without any problem. This might not be the best painting in the world because I think I've just gone over that a little bit. Let's just take them out again. Do I care? Alright, we're going up to that line there, I think is a good dividing point, and that's where I drew to, so that's perfect. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact for the purposes of this testing. Boom. IT cluster. Alright, let's put another one, maybe one here somewhere. Maybe not here after all. I feel like it usually looks better if it's quite a big one. This is already an IT cluster here, actually. So that's one there already. So we do have a few sprinkled around. And there's a bit of uncommitted space here, even. So this was a area I was developing. Oh, at this time I hadn't finished it yet. I don't know what I built there. Let's just look for another biggish area somewhere in this general area. Let's just see. Okay, and we're back down here again. So we don't have a huge amount of space around here. That's already done. That's already IT industry. IT industry, you know what I mean. What's the proper name for it again? IT cluster. That was it. IT industry. What am I talking about? Right. I just think it'll look a bit massive if I do it here. But let's just do these 6 blocks. So this is going to be quite a tiny one, but we'll see what happens. Where is it? There it is, that one, and done. So this will reconvert. So the game speed's still on maximum. We're still letting the game slowly crawl through. But back here again. Yep, that's getting ever smaller, 2,900. So it was about 3,300, wasn't it, before I just did the recent lot. So this is still the import screen. This is the export screen. Do we have any... No, we still don't quite have any signs of purple yet, but it feels like we're close. I mean, even mail is... we're not exporting much mail. So that does seem to be a weakness in the game design. I say weakness. That goods type can only come from two sources. Well, three sources. You can import it, but there seems to be only so much you can import before it breaks down. You can build your own using generic industry, but there's only so much you can do. Well, you can actually, no, that's wrong. You can do a lot of industry, but it's polluting and it's a bit horrible. And then you got the IT cluster, which makes no sense to me. Actually, look at these markers here. This is the IT cluster symbol, isn't it? So I do have quite a few of these sprinkled around. That's okay. That's one of the ones I just did. This could take a while again. So rather than wait for that to come back like these had, it could take a while. So right, let's just park ourselves here. We're just looking over this empty area that I just rezoned and the amusement park just behind it. So once again, I'm just going to go away and do something else and then come back a bit later, and hopefully this is rebuilt then and we'll see what happens. Okay, I left the game running for about 15-20 minutes since the last time, and this area has started to build back, but it's still not fully populated by any means. There's still loads of gaps there. But we have... Do you notice something different down here? We actually have commercial demand again. So does that mean we are starting to satisfy the industrial... well, the goods needs? Let's check here. So finally, we have no significant goods visibility there. And if I go to export, we actually have a purple wedge. Look, we have a surplus. So if my understanding is correct, that means the not enough goods to sell signs should be disappearing. Okay. There's still a little bit there. How about down? This was the area we started at. If you remember, this was the first block I changed. So there's still some here. Let's give them a helping hand. So just the ones that are abandoned, are they going to recover quickly or quickly? There's one there. So like I said, there is actually commercial demand now. It might just be I need to leave the game running longer. Again, well, you saw, in 15 minutes, this area, wherever it was, up here somewhere, there it is, here, still hasn't fully fleshed out. Look, that one's just popping up now, so they're still rebuilding. If I leave the game running much longer, I'm sure it'll improve a bit further. But anyway, that's the import and export display here. It does show it is working as intended. So, ooh, okay, so this area here, I know I set that as as IT cluster, but it's not showing as exporting. So that means in this area, there is probably still a shortage. So I think it's a case of, I might have enough overall on the map, but it's not necessarily getting to the right place just yet. I don't know if running longer... Oh, wait, I'm looking at it wrong. Export. It helps if I look at the right screen. Right. So this area and this area is the first two I set to IT cluster in this session, and yes, we are actually exporting goods now. So some of those goods should go to these and make them happy. If they're not, I don't know why. But it's probably just a a traffic, or it just needs a bit more time. Again, this is a massive city, it's over 200,000 population, so the game does run a bit slow. Maybe give it a bit more time it will balance, but I still consider this, you know, a successful demonstration that the... Yeah, look at all this demand and the small amount of production, so it's not quite balanced yet, but it's close. So there's very few buildings here that are saying not enough goods. Most of them are happy now, unlike earlier. At the beginning of the stream, you know, a lot of this area was showing as not enough goods. So it's okay, it's not perfect, but it's practically there. So that's it. So just to recap then, the 3 ways to potentially solve not enough goods to sell are better connections, but that only seems to work so far. Better, well, more generic industry, the normal polluting one. Of course, the downside is it's polluting and it generates a lot of traffic. And then the third option that I just presented here is the IT cluster, which does generate goods as well, and it doesn't have the traffic associated with the industry zones. So again, you'll have to balance it in your city for its actual needs. Your city will be different than my city, but it seems to work. So one last look. So we still have a massive area of demand there, and I've just added some, well, this is the surplus. This is what's being exported. So presumably the ones that are not lit up for export are still producing, but they're consumed locally. Again, it might take a little bit of time to balance out, but we're getting there. So that's it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.